What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Ash back at it again with another YouTube video. Yeah, Sarsky. Another one. Another one. Uh, so we're gonna be looking at a video saying why Tom Brady and Tampa shouldn't have worked, but it did. Um, Personally, I thought Tom Brady was one of those players that was just gonna be on the Patriots forever. Like it's rare in the NFL. I feel at times nowadays that a player they were drafted by, stays on that team. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot different than it is in like NBA and shit. You got players that just never lead a team and shit like that. But I feel like in the NFL it's a little bit different because there's different teams. They trade a player. Player might get cut or something like that. It's kind of rare that they just be staying. You know what I'm saying? Um, like one of the like Tyler Lockett. Um, I think that was the Seahawks player like that. Like that was kind of wild. Seeing him just be there for so long and then get traded. And I think he was traded. I don't fucking know. Anyways, look, I'm gonna stop yapping. I'm gonna stop talking. Let's go ahead and get into the video, man. Run my intro. Okay, welcome to Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. Shouldn't have worked, but it did. Um, I don't know what this is. It's one of those blind watches. You know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead and get into the video, man.
Okay, so tell me, what do you remember about the year of 2019? I was still in diapers playing Fortnite every day, and this guy right here, Tom Brady, was on the New England Patriots. All was well, but after King Henry ripped the soul out of the Patriots dynasty, Tom's empire had collapsed. And so, this led to Thomas making the biggest decision in sports.
We are being told that Tom Brady, barring anything unforeseen, is expected to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Tom Brady signing with the Tampa Bay Bucks tomorrow. Holy hell.
Tom Brady now officially plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The contract is signed. Tom Brady now officially a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tom Brady, known as the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Tampa Bay fans are now very happy he's a member of our team.
I think it really gives the city, something uplifting and something to look forward to.
Then that nigga went to Tampa Bay and started spanking ass, my nigga. I'm talking about putting belt. I'm talking Tom. I'm talking Uncle Tom. I'm talking putting belt to them young niggas, man.
So listen, okay, I'm all for Florida Tom. It's hot down there. The shirts are less plentiful. I get it. However, the concerns football-wise were entirely fair. More likely than not, going to Tampa Bay was going to hurt the legacy of the greatest quarterback to ever play the game, as the NFL team he joined was, as you probably know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who were the third least winning team in the entirety of the 2010s, and the closest thing they had to excitement down there was Jameis Winston throwing the ball 62 times a game and whatever coke John Gruden forgot to pick up in the locker room after a film session from back in the day. So everyone thought that Tom would fail, or at least he wouldn't come anywhere near the success he had in New England.
I ain't gonna lie. When this all happened, I was like, Tom in Tampa? I mean, is he gonna cook? Maybe. Are they gonna win a chip? Maybe. Probably not. That was my thought process. Then that nigga went in the league and cooked. Uncle Tom. Belt.
England, and by everyone, I mean the entirety of the media kept saying he was too old, and Saints fans were praying that he actually was bad, saying things like, come on now, this senile old man was walking into random people's houses, and now he was in the big leagues, okay? Back in New England, he played against Sam Darnold and Ryan Fitzpatrick, and without Belichick, he's nothing. And, they should have been right.
Yeah. This was crazy because everybody was saying the Saints was gonna win the NFC South. Them Saints, babe. Got worried about them Saints, babe. That's crazy. Oh, look what happened, nigga.
This should have been Tom Tom Brady's Michael Jordan joining the Wizards moment, but this is Tom Brady. And instead, he managed to have another Hall of Fame career starting at the age of.
As an athlete, you want to keep evolving. I think it'll
JD5. We got JD5 with the Nike deal. Shout out JD5, man.
43.
Excited to
And
see what my nigga
so,
gonna do to
first game,
this season.
Tom Brady, not in a New England Patriots jersey, was hyped up by the whole world, not just the NFL, and to make it even better, it was versus Drew Brees, the man who experienced the absolute best luck versus the absolute worst when it comes to big important games. But it looked like finally the gods would shine down on Drew Brees this year. It turns out an offseason of COVID stuff, no OTAs, and no preseason while having to learn a whole new system can be pretty tough. And Tom Brady knew that the Bucs had a lot of work to do after they got demolished by the Saints. But the thing with this Bucs team was the media sort of framed it as Tom Brady was the savior of this team, which, I mean, yes and no. They had established leaders already like Mike Evans and Levante David, so Tom was not entirely tasked with turning the culture around.
I ain't gonna lie. I feel like so people were saying like, oh, this makes them a contending team. In a way, it did, but in a way, it was also like, okay, but if they don't win, is it because of Tom's fault or is it because of the team's fault? You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think this is a vet, this is a Super Bowl champion. You know what I'm saying? That's the GOAT. All right. So you telling me the GOAT can't come on another team and cook? Well, what's going on? I don't know. I don't know. I'm high. I don't know what I was talking about. I was thinking about Mike Evans and I got on that. I'm so sorry. We're going to continue the video. Apologize.
Around from Jameis's antics over the past few seasons. But after just 1 week, people literally just gave up on the Bucs.
Jameis Winston has been a better player, and I don't think Tom Brady can turn it around.
The
That nigga dicky. Don't be like him. He's bald and he's dicky. Don't be a bald dick eater, guys.
Bucs looked kind of lost. Yes, they had a ton of veteran talent like Gronk, Leonard Fournette, LaShawn McCoy, who was on this team, and Jason Pierre-Paul, as well as Antonio Brown before he eventually
Now look, I'd be lying if I sit here and said Tom didn't bring a fucking squad with him. Cause how the fuck did Tom Brady manage to bring back Antonio Brown? He got Gronk too, by the way. So
well. But this whole system, with offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich, who literally did nothing after his time in Tampa, had Tom Brady struggling. He played a perfect game versus us because he just loves us like that. He fumbled, damn it! But his stats were down, and the pass attempts were up. However, still, Tampa Bay was a good team because meanwhile their defense was carrying the load enough to
yeah,
pick
they
up the win.
did. Nah,
Their
that's
offense
one thing. That is one thing I do want to say. That defense was cooking shit, nigga. That defense was absolutely cooking shit.
inconsistencies that just kept coming. And at 7-3, with 2 losses to the Saints and one because Tom's CTE got in the way of him remembering what down it was versus the Bears, they were 7-3, but that's not that bad. But then, after back-to-back losses with the exact same score to the Rams and Chiefs, everyone was panicking all of a sudden. The defense was starting to get torched too, which meant Todd Bowles, the Bucs defensive coordinator, had to make adjustments. And as the former guy for the New York Jets, he didn't
Ain't this nigga the head coach now? Mm.
tend to do that very often, but he actually did. And on offense, the Bucs needed to lock in. They were on a short leash, but the analytics said there was something more here. Besides the Bills and of course the Saints, the Buccaneers were the only team in the NFL without red in any one of these categories. So there was something there. They just needed to put it together. But could they? Could Tom? Time was running out, and in a good division with the division crown basically out of the equation already gone to the Saints, Tampa's best shot would be a wildcard route. And for an old team with Super Bowl expectations, I mean, is a wildcard appearance even good enough? Hell no. And so Tom Brady did what Tom Brady did. Kicked down his coach's door and said, "F you guys, we need a run game." And after the Tyreek Hill first quarter massacre of 2020, the Buccaneers were maybe the best team in football.
On second down, looking for Gronkowski. He hauled it in. Brady looking deep again. Mike Evans. Fournette. Will Brady off the fake. Plenty of time to the end. Brady. End zone shot again.
Look at this nigga. This nigga a vet just picking apart. This nigga's a vet picking apart the fucking teams, bro. My phone just dropped. I thought my shit cracked. Niggas over here picking apart fucking teams. Who 34-0, my nigga. See, granted, this was an ass Detroit Lions team. 34-0, my nigga. And it's the second half. Sorry, it's before second half. This is before second half, my nigga. Like, I don't know, my nigga. That's squall.
From weeks 14
7 to
17,
47.
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady averaged 333 yards, 3 touchdowns, and had a passer rating of 126.9. The man
That shit's
was
crazy.
older than most of your dads out there who are watching this video and was doing that. But yeah, with the pre-snap motion and other stuff that barely existed when Tom was an embryo in the early years of the 2000s on the Patriots, the Buccaneers offense was a well-oiled machine. Thomas casually played the best game of his entire life damn near versus the Lions, going for 4 touchdowns in one half. And he didn't even care about the record. He just sat the rest of the game. Not even worth his time. So okay, Tom did it. Finally. The narrative had begun to change. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were terrifying in the playoffs, and everyone knew that. They had a great defense, and not the best quarterback in the league right at that moment, but the best quarterback of all time in Tom Brady. And that is just not someone who you want to see alone in a room with you. Unless. But pretty much everyone had the same predictions, okay? The Bucs would take care of the Washington football team and then would lose to one of the real contenders in the NFC, which were the Packers and the Saints. Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers were simply just better, right? But the Bucs kind of...
Rodgers! Aaron Rodgers! How many rings that nigga get, y'all? Like 1? Tight. 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 Hey, man. I think A-Rod's a little overrated. That's just me, though. That's just me, though.
just said, you know what? No. And dunked on absolutely everyone. The Commanders fought hard, the Saints offense turned the ball over 4 times, and Tom Brady and the offense did enough. They weren't very good. They averaged about 20 yards per drive, but they did beat the Saints, and Drew Brees was absolutely atrocious. And then versus the Packers in the NFC Championship game, Brady was...
Give me 1 sec, y'all.
The championship game,
We're
Brady
back.
was fine again, but the Bucs defense just continued to be on an all-time rampage. Versus the Saints and Packers, the Buccaneers forced a combined 4 interceptions. So the defense was rolling. And with Vita Vea back, they were hitting their stride at the right time. The run defense was unbearable with Sue and Vea. Shaq Barrett and JPP were ruthless in the pass rush. Levante David and Devin White were ball hawks. And Sean Murphy Bunting and Jamel Dean held down the secondary. So they did it. Against all odds, Tom Brady...
I hit with another fuck ass ad, and I just got back. That's crazy.
was back in the Super Bowl in year number 1 with no offseason, a new team, a new system, a new culture, and the man was back in the big game coming into the Super Bowl with his team scoring at least 30 points in every playoff game so far, but his opponent was probably the best Chiefs team.
The crazy thing is that bro really has a point. This was probably the best Chiefs team
The Chiefs beat them earlier this year, and Patrick Mahomes was in prime form. And although Thomas had been his kryptonite so far in his career, the Chiefs were expected to handle business. But Mahomes did fail to destroy Brady once, so maybe now there was a chance that Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. is simply too sexy. Brady played meticulously efficient football, and the Bucs defense did the rest, holding Mahomes.
Nigga, we can talk about how we can talk about a multitude of things during the Super Bowl. I we can talk about the fact the score was like something to like 7 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Them boys got blown the fuck out because of that defense. Belt to ass.
Mahomes to 9 total points, 0 touchdowns, and the 4th lowest scoring game by the Chiefs in the entire Mahomes era to this very day. And that's even including what Carson Wentz did versus Denver this past season. So Tom Brady had accomplished what he set out. Despite being the underdog in 3 straight playoff games, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a perennial loser franchise, was Super Bowl champions in year number 1 with Tom Brady. I cannot emphasize how
When that nigga did that shit, like when Brady got ring number 6 in Tampa, I had to give him that. I was like, all right, that nigga to go. I didn't fuck with him because he was on the Patriots. And I just don't fuck with the Patriots. But it was like, all right, shout out, bro.
how
He's him.
ridiculously impressive this is. The best player ever, who was labeled as a checkdown merchant, changed his style of play, was 3rd in the league in yards on passes over 20 plus yards, and won his 7th Super Bowl. And a Super Bowl MVP
Ring number 7, my bad.
at the age of 43, but he might have had his most impressive feat next season. If Tom Brady, just decided to call it here, he'd already be an inarguable success and a legend in Tampa forever, but he ran it back and he was the best player in the NFL. 44 years old. The motherfucker was 44 and should not have been doing nothing more in life except enrolling in a hot yoga class and sexually intimidating his son's girlfriend. But no, instead, he decided to be the MVP of the NFL, or at least he should have been. He famously led the NFL in passing yards in 2021 and passing touchdowns, but he had the 3rd most passing yards in a season ever, while still completing 68% of his passes. But the argument
I don't think y'all quite realize how crazy that nigga went off. So we gonna look it up right quick. He threw for a career high 50. I was about to say 5,300. 5,316 passing yards, completing 67.4% of his passes, and throwing for 43 touchdowns. Had a passer rating of 90.7, 4694 yards, 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions in 17 games. Like, bro, he was him. He was him.
argument against Brady and the buzzsaw Buccaneers this year, who went on to win 13 games, was they were just throwing the ball a ton to pad Tom's stats, even in games they didn't need to. But that just wasn't true. By year's end, Tom Brady faced the 2nd most difficult schedule for quarterbacks to go against in the entire NFL. He was number 1 in wins above replacement and had the highest PFF grade in the entire league at quarterback with a 92 grade, which is higher than Josh Allen's insane MVP campaign last season. So yeah, Tom Brady did not win the MVP, but he probably should have. Antonio Brown ended up taking all the headlines from this season for having an absolute mental breakdown on the sideline. You remember when that happened? Yeah, it did. And they actually won that game. But then, the Buccaneers versus the Baby Eagles in the playoffs in the wild card and ended up blowing them out, but then got to host a divisional round versus the Los Angeles Rams. A battle of two super teams going at it. Hall of Famers everywhere. Brady, Mike Evans, Aaron Donald, Gronk, Von Miller. There was no world where this game wasn't going to be a bloodbath, and of course, it was, but Tom Brady was tested for sure. No lead is safe versus Tom Brady. That's like in the NFL holy scriptures. And it looked like his legend in Tampa would only continue. After being down by 24 points, the Buccaneers battled back, and the Rams looked like they were going to become another stepping stone in the long line of teams that blow leads to Tom Brady and watched helplessly as Tom just choked them to death, leaving their mangled corpse on the floor, lifeless. And boy, was he doing just that. Tom Brady tied the game at 27 all, and for fuck's sake, he was about to get the ball back. But the Rams, luckily, had two Hall of Fame level guys that were making plays all year. And one of the most iconic catches of the last decade by Cooper
Matthew Stafford, Cooper Cup, Aaron Donald, and Von Miller. Tom Brady, Gronk, and that killer Buccaneers Buccaneers defense. This shit was a good ass game, bro. I'm not even gonna hold y'all, bro. This was a good ass game, man.
Cup set up a game-winning field goal, and Tom Brady's historic 2021 season ended with a poor performance, all things considered, but a close comeback, having 54 pass attempts in a heartbreaking home loss. And then he retired. Well, that's it, right? Brady said he was done for good, and he was ready and excited to be a full-time family man and devote way more of his time to his wife and kids, but from the shadows, the call of getting nailed by a 6'7", 280-pound sweaty man kept calling to Brady. And by the end of the day, basically, the whispers got too loud and Brady said, "Fuck it, I'm back," and then his wife divorced him, but damn it, he had one more in him. Yeah, so here's the thing. I still stand on the title that Tom Brady should not have worked out in Tampa Bay, and it didn't harm his legacy in the slightest, but his personal life was changed forever because of the 2022 NFL season. Obviously, I don't want to speculate too much on the real reasons behind his divorce, but at the end of the day, his passion is in football, and he just was consumed by his craft, because that is what it takes to be the best ever at something. You have to be insane. And I wouldn't be surprised if, in retrospect, Brady regretted coming back in 2022 despite what he's gone on record saying. Because also the 2022 Buccaneers were not good. The O-line had 17 injuries during the season, Bruce Arians was gone, and with even less of a run game, Brady led the league in pass attempts and also had the most pass attempts of any season in his entire career. The defense was also a shell of its previous self. Brady was smashing tablets, his dick was dry, it was just not a fun year for them. And at 8-9, they somehow took the division and limped into the playoffs and got absolutely ravaged by the Dallas Cowboys, which, when that happens, it's time to hang up the old cleats. And so, he finally did. Tom Brady retired from the NFL for good following the 2022 campaign and joined the ownership of the greatest NFL franchise ever in the Raiders. And the almost came back again, but whatever family and friends he had left must have physically contained him and drugged him to make the video he did, and that's it. From 2020 to 2022, in 3 years in Tampa, Tom Brady was second in the league in passing yards, only to Mahomes, and third in this time span as well in passing touchdowns behind Rodgers and Mahomes as well, which is not too bad for a 44-year-old man, huh? Instead of tainting his legacy with poor quarterback play, Brady played at an MVP level. He won a Super Bowl, lost his wife, and did things that no player his age will ever do again, as we've seen with Aaron Rodgers. And
I ain't gonna lie to y'all. After hearing what I just heard, And knowing what I know about Tom Brady, I think this obviously makes Tom Brady a better GOAT than Michael Jordan ever will be. And yeah, MJ couldn't go to Wizards and win a chip his first year. So, you know, but Brady did in his first year with Tampa Bay. Brady did.
And somehow, against all odds, he actually managed to add on to the legacy of already the greatest player in the history of football. But anyways, if you like this video, then subscribe, because I got a lot of videos on the channel just like this one. And if you did like this video, then watch this video I did a few days back on the Baltimore Ravens and their entire franchise's history. It's
Shout out to Fraud. I will be watching more videos of him in the future. Most definitely. Most definitely. It's been your boy Ash. I'm going to get up on out of here. Appreciate you for tuning in. Another video should be coming out Thursday. That being said, peace out, y'all.